Hello, everyone, and welcome aboard to Animal Advocates Radio Voices Carry for Animals, number 489 shows this evening and counting. And I want to welcome all of you into this live chat room. This thing is rocking. I'll tell you, I love it. I love this new Podbean app and everything. And was saying hello to all of you. Thanks for joining in on the chat room. Anyone that's listening from the Podbean web, want to give you all a big shout out for tuning in with us this evening. And hope you join us in the chat room sometime because this is coming live from Podbean Podcast app and player, and it is, and all shows are archived. Okay, so you can listen and share 24/7. You're in the chat room. You can press that like button and keep your show building up. I did. Go up from a newbie level up to a novice level. So that is great news right there. It's been going on for 5 months. And for those who don't know, Blog Talk Radio was shut down January the 31st, and I was on there for 10.5 years, okay? And then I said, I'm not giving up Voices Carry for Animals because they shut down. So I got hooked with this Podbean podcast and app player. This is just so wonderful. But I'm going to go over a couple things. My name is Debbie Dahmer, aka Mama Bear, and Mama Bear does care because she's on the air. And thank you to all of you out there that's making these shows a total success out there, and keep going because the animals don't have a voice. They're just like the children and the elderly. We have to be their voice. They're helpless and defenseless, and we have to stand up for their rights because they can't and they deserve better lives and futures. But I want to I had my 11-year anniversary on Voices Carry for Animals, Animal Advocates Radio, was several weeks ago. And for those that know, I started out on Marty Oakley TS Radio Network. And she was the grassroots, and she sadly passed away April the 1st of 2023. And then she helped me get Animal Advocates Radio together and March of 2018 because I did 163 live stream shows on there, and from 164 to current, that's where I'm on Animal Advocates Radio, Voices Carry for Animals on Podbean. And the Mama Bear, right, Michelle, is relentless. So glad you could join us. Barbara Levette, this is great news. Save Nosy now. There was a big victory back, I believe it was in 2019, Save Nosy. She got released to a sanctuary in Tennessee. She's so happy. And Barbara was Save Nosy Now, and all the supporters fought so hard for her. And I mean, they would not give up. And so glad they didn't. It was a tough fight, but it was a great victory. Thank you, Barbara Levette. And I hope you speak on air. There's a phone icon or a mic icon on the lower right hand corner. Just that alert me that you want to speak on air, okay? So whenever you're ready, we're going to go with this show. We got one guest that's returning, Kiersten Cluster of Elephant Guardians of Los Angeles. And we got a newbie, Cory Mack of Los Angeles for Animals. They're coming in on together and go over a couple things. Both groups have been advocating since 2016 for the elephants held in the Los Angeles Zoo to be released to a sanctuary. There were four. Jewel and Shaunzi were euthanized, and now Billy and Tina were transferred to the Tulsa Zoo. Well, we're going to start with Kiersten for a brief background on Billy and Tina. Therefore, everybody knows Kiersten has been on the show before on TS Radio Network and also Animal Advocates Radio. And also, we do they always ask me to get involved with their candle vigil for elephants for all the elephants that have died in captivity. Like will be for this year, it'll be a show next January 2026, and I'll be doing a promotion for that. Okay, so what we're going to do, I see that Kiersten, I'm going to be bringing you on first, okay? Can you hear me? You're live and on the air. Go right ahead.
Yes, Debbie, thank you.
You're so welcome. Welcome back. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I'm very happy to be back again, Debbie, and we just I know I can speak for everyone here that we just so appreciate the voice that you give for the animals and all the issues that people are working on, and you give us this platform where we can talk about these things. So thank you.
Hey, you're so welcome. I do my best. I can't do it alone. This platform is for all animals in need and distress. And it's not a pretty picture out there, everyone. It's just so sad and heartbreaking because we're all on this earth temporarily, including all the animals. And they deserve better lives and futures and live in comfort and freedom and away from fear and anxiety and getting traumatized. And so that's what we're all here for. But I want to thank you, Kiersten, for all you do also, because you've been around a long time and all your group on Facebook. And please visit everyone. Get on there, press like, see how you can help out. Let's get Tina and Billy out of there, okay, into freedom. All right, just
Yeah,
yes, that's our goal. But
yes, thank you.
yes, and you're doing all that hard work out there, and I see Cory made it in. This is great news too, Kiersten. That's what you
Yeah,
call teamwork, right?
Corey's here too, and yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really
Hello,
happy to be
can
here
you hear me?
with
Hi,
Corey.
Cory. Welcome to Animal Advocates Radio. Voices
Our
caring for animals.
organizations have been
Thank
working
you.
together since 2016, advocating.
Yeah, I just lost you for a minute. Can you hear me? Hello,
Are you?
hello, Kiersten. Yeah, Kiersten, are you
Oh,
there?
yeah, I'm
Uh,
here. Kirsten's here. Can you hear me?
yeah, yeah. This is Cory,
Yes,
right?
I'm
This is
here. Can you hear
Cory.
me?
No, that's Kiersten. This is
Okay,
Cory.
okay, Cory. Sorry about that. And see, Cory is from the Los Angeles for Animals, but we'll start with Kiersten first, okay, Cory, and then
Yeah,
we'll move
but
right to you.
I don't know if you can hear me, Debbie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. I
Okay,
can
now
hear
you
you
can hear
good.
me. Okay, okay,
Yep.
good. All right. Well, thank you. I just want to say to start that I'm so happy to be here with Cory of Los Angeles for Animals. And, we've been working together a long time, but we've also been working alongside a lot of organizations around the country, including Free Nosy Now. I know Barbara Levitt's here. She's one of our big supporters. Um, and there have been scientists and advocates and politicians and attorneys and elephant experts and the public. There has been this wide coalition calling for these elephants to be released to sanctuary, and the zoo could have done that, and instead they chose to ship them to Tulsa. And this is a zoo that In Defense of Animals has an active campaign for Billy and Tina, and they named the Los Angeles Zoo as the #1 worst zoo for elephants on their worst zoo for elephants list for the past 2 years. And
What is that? Hold on one second, okay? Somebody's smoke's going off or
someone's got some
something.
music for
Somebody's
yeah.
got some music. I'm gonna have to mute because this thing, this app. I'm sorry about that. This app
That's
picks up
okay.
all kind of sounds, so I got to make sure everybody's muted out, and then ask them to, send me a notification that they want to come on air. Okay,
I think maybe
when we
they
get
were
to
just
that.
cheering for In Defense of Animals, so thank you. Um, and
Go
also,
ahead.
Billy and Tina are clients of the Non-Human Rights Project. So there's a lot going on for them, that we kind of want to talk about today. And I just want to give a little background on who they are. Billy was born in 1985 in Malaysia. He was captured from the wild as an infant. He was brought into the Los Angeles Zoo as part of a wildlife trade in 1989. He has been held there since 1989,
Mm.
until May of 2025 when he was transferred to Tulsa. Tina was born in 1966. She's a little bit older. She's 59. She was also captured from the wild somewhere in Asia. We don't know exactly where. Tina was sold into the circus industry, and she was confiscated by the USDA in 2009, along with her longtime companion, Jewel, due to neglect. And they were first put in the San Diego Zoo, and then in 2010, they were loaned to the Los Angeles Zoo. Sadly, Jewel was euthanized in 2023. The fourth elephant, Shaunzi, who was brought in from the Fresno Chaffee Zoo, was euthanized in 2024. So it was Billy and Tina left in the zoo. And we were really hoping that this was going to be the time to get them to sanctuary. We knew that the zoo needed to have more elephants. The AZA has requirements now on how many elephants you have to have. And apparently the zoo knew they either had to bring in more elephants or move them. And on April 22nd, 2025, the zoo announced the plan to transfer Billy and Tina to the Tulsa Zoo instead of to a sanctuary. Needless to say, the Los Angeles community was heartbroken. And we had members of city council who were working on this. There were attorneys working on this, and the public wanted them to go to sanctuary, and the zoo decided to send them to Tulsa. Again, their stated reason was they had to comply with this AZA standard. There were no Asian elephants to bring into the zoo, so they had to transfer them someplace else. It looks like they wanted to keep them in a zoo because they want to keep Billy in their breeding program. And we all know that the AZA breeding program is highly unsuccessful. These baby elephants are not being bred to put back into the wild. This is not conservation. They are breeding babies to attract visitors to buy tickets to the zoos. And most of the time, these babies don't survive. They are dying faster than they can be bred in zoos. So, all that's kind of the background. In response, our LA City Council member, Bob Blumenfeld, who's really been pushing to get Billy and Tina to sanctuary, introduced a motion requiring the City Council to consider and vote on all relocation options for Billy and Tina. Now, Billy and Tina are still in the Los Angeles Zoo at this point. They just announced they're moving them, but it hasn't happened yet. So now we've got a motion pending it's in a committee in front of the Los Angeles City Council. On May 19th, I went to the zoo and documented that Billy and Tina had shackles on all four legs. So we knew that the transfer was imminent. And I'm going to turn this over to Cory now because she was there that night. So
Okay, go
Right.
right ahead. Go ahead, Corey. And so glad to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the
Yes.
invitation. And always glad to be speaking alongside of Kiersten, my longtime partner in this fight for Billy and Tina.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah.
back to the
Go ahead.
story. On the night that they got sent out to Tulsa, The zoo didn't notify anyone, didn't notify the public, didn't tell the public, come on down. It's your last time to see Billy and Tina. Nothing, zero. So they moved them out at 1:30 in the night. And then the next day, various activists went to the zoo, and there was like no news about this. So, but the next day, because of the shackles, every single day, we had been checking, sending people in to check to see if Billy and Tina were still there. But on that, the night following when they were moved, people saw no one. There were no elephants there. All of the caretakers said, "Oh yeah, they're here. They're just in the back somewhere." And we had people calling into the zoo saying, "Are Billy and Tina there? Can I come down and see them?" And the zoo was saying, "Yes, come on down." But they weren't there. They were not there. So
Mm-mm.
that night, thinking that maybe they were just in the barn or hidden somewhere, I went with a friend, another activist, at midnight, and we stayed around the zoo exits all night waiting to see if there was a transport truck coming out with them. Nothing. And during that previous day, the news started getting a hold of this story that they had already been shipped out, but it was only rumors. So when my friend and I were about ready to leave the zoo at dawn, we ran into like 7 news crews. And I ran up to them and I said, "Do you want an interview?" And they were all grabbing at us for interviews. But, and I said in my interviews, I said that I still believe that they were there, that Tina and Billy were in the zoo. But news broke, I don't know, about 7 in the morning that yes, they were gone. Oh man, it was devastating. But it was also not just a betrayal of Billy and Tina, but the entire public. Um, for the zoo to do something so underhanded just shows how much they didn't care. They don't care about the public and they don't care about the animals. It just, my thoughts on the zoo just plummeted. My opinion of them is worse than ever now. Um, anyway, I would like to add one thing. I don't think that, Kiersten, did you mention the zoo director's ties to AZA in particular?
No, no, go ahead.
Okay, so she explained why they wanted to kind of keep the elephants in the zoo system because that's their industry. Well, another factor is last fall, the zoo director became the board chair of the actual association of zoos and aquariums that makes the regulations about breeding and keeping multiple elephants in zoos. So she's got a double stake in this. So when she went before city council and said that the zoo had looked at sanctuary options, but then decided on a zoo, that doesn't ring true. She works doubly in the zoo industry. So, they're bad actors. They're not playing honestly.
Mm-mm. It's terrible what's going on. It's greed. Greed in the first degree. You know that?
Yeah. Yes,
Greed
Debbie.
Yes.
bullies. I mean,
Yes.
it's
That's the
all
bottom
about
line.
me, narcissist. No, absolutely no mercy for these animals. Okay, it's
Yeah,
all
there's
about
no
them.
empathy.
And
No,
it's
no.
about this is really about money. I mean, they are exploiting these majestic beings for profit. And it's just devastating. And I would like to quote Councilmember Bob Blumenfeld because I really
Oh,
think
yeah.
he said it so well when this all came to light and we found out that the zoo had shipped them out in the night without any notice to the city council, any notice to the public. Bob Blumenfeld issued a statement, and one of the things he said was, when you are proud of your actions and secure in the righteousness of those actions, you don't move in the shadow of night and you don't hide from public scrutiny. And I think that kind of sums up what's going
Perfect.
on with what the zoo did.
Perfect. He nailed it.
Yep, you sure did. You know, and it's sad what the and you know they are forced into these lives in zoos and circuses. You know, it's not fair to them. They need to be out in the freedom and with socializing. And I mean, it's terrible how they're living. It's so sad and heartbreaking. You know, do we really need these wild animals in zoos? My answer is
Absolutely
no,
not.
No,
definitely
we do
not.
not. We do not.
No,
And we
no.
know that they're opening, they just opened up a completely holographic zoo that does not trap or confine any wild animals. And there are other ways for humans to learn about wild animals in their natural habitats, engaging in natural behaviors. When you go into a zoo, you're just seeing animals who have been trapped in these unnatural conditions, who can't even be who they were born to be. You're not even seeing an elephant and what all that means to be an elephant. You're seeing
Right.
someone who's trapped and
Mm.
losing their mind in captivity. So there's no educational value to the zoo. And there's other ways we can teach children about these wild animals while still protecting them in their natural homes. That's the bottom line. We need to be protecting them in their natural homes.
That's right. And I mean, you look at this big fight for Lucy the elephant up at Edmonton Zoo. I mean, all these health issues. You talking
Yes.
about profit over animals in the
Right.
first degree. You know, she's
Exactly.
not healthy at all. I mean, it's like, come on. I wrote letters. What's his Gary Zoo director Gary Jower, and I wasn't getting the right responses. It's like, well, we just can't let her go because, for these, traveling purposes. Yes, you can. It's going to bring her to freedom and living comfortable, the last years or days of her life because they're up there in age,
Right.
and it's so sad what's going on. So, and I've had so many shows on. Lucy the elephant, and I'm going to continue. Marianne's coming back, in a
Oh,
couple
good. Yeah.
months and
Marianne
going
is
to
great
welcome,
spears.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, on
She is
leap.
fantastic. And we fully support um, the group, Lucy's Edmonton Advocates Project. We fully support them. We work together.
Definitely.
They're doing amazing work for Lucy. And that is such a good example, Debbie, of an elephant who's just being held in horrible conditions. I mean, it's just so cold. That is no place for an elephant to be. And I did visit the Tulsa Zoo. So I did go to see Billy and Tina in their new enclosure. And they have 7 elephants now in the Tulsa Zoo. And it's just a barren exhibit. There's very little shade. There's restricted space. There's no privacy unless they're taken off of exhibit. It's just another zoo exhibit that cannot meet their needs. It's so obvious from a human perspective, but what we need to look at is their perspective and what they're communicating to us. And every single elephant, all 7 of them, there's Hank, Connie, Booper, Sneezy, Suki, Billy, and Tina. All 7 of them were exhibiting stereotypic behaviors over the short period I was there in Tulsa. I saw them rocking, swaying, bobbing their heads, pushing on doors, swinging their trunks, because of this unrelenting stress of the zoo environment. That the current research is showing that these behaviors are actual brain damage. These elephants are damaged because of these inadequate conditions that they're forced to live in. They're under incredible stress. They've experienced trauma. They're having all kinds of physical issues and pain, and they're trapped and they're losing their minds. And they are telling us with every bob and sway that they are not thriving. So, how is this a good move for Billy and Tina? How could this possibly be seen as better than going to an accredited sanctuary where they would have had miles to roam? They would have had this wide open natural space. They could have engaged in natural behaviors. They would have had privacy, peace, quiet. It's just incomprehensible
One of
that.
the things that tells us that they are not happy, that they are not natural, that they are not living the lives that they should live, is anytime you see videos of elephants in the wild or elephants who have gone to sanctuary and adapted to sanctuary life, they're very vocal. They have a whole array of sounds they make, rumbling and chirping, and the African elephants with their trumpeting. And you go into zoos, and unless the zookeeper is making them perform and like say something, they are all silent. They don't talk to one another. They don't do anything. They just stand there. And that's not natural for elephants. Elephants, as Kiersten is saying, are highly social. And being social means you communicate with one another. But these elephants are so shut down, and they've been living isolated or in an isolated manner for so long that Billy, I've I've never even seen a video of him vocalizing in any way unless he's with a keeper. And they have been trained to do tricks. And probably one of their tricks, I mean, I'm not sure that this is one of their tricks, but them vocalizing for their food. So, yeah, as Kiersten was saying, they're not living natural lives. They're not. So, kids seeing elephants in zoos, they're seeing depressed elephants.
Mhm.
Every elephant that's been in a zoo for any length of time has all sorts of problems, physical and mental. Lucy is a good example of that. And so too were Shaunzi and Jewel, who were euthanized here.
And even now, it's interesting. He's been alone for most of the time he was at the Los Angeles Zoo, and now they have put him in. He has been with Tina, and I did see him with also in an exhibit yard with Connie and Booper, which makes us question why he was alone at the LA Zoo for so long.
Right,
There's that, but also he was still engaging in stereotyping
right.
because he's so depressed and feels so trapped that he still was standing at the barn door bobbing his head up and down. And there is a video now posted on our social media. It's up on both Los Angeles for Animals and Elephant Guardians of Los Angeles. You can see a video of Billy and Tina together in a stall in the barn, both engaged in stereotypy, and we'll be putting up another video tomorrow.
Yeah. You want to give out your Facebook pages, ladies, and that way the audience could, because we can always go back to these shows, everyone, after they get downloaded and I edit it and get published. It'll be on my voicescarryforanimals.com website. Hear it live from there. My two YouTube channels, Voices Carry for Animals podcast. Be a subscriber, and also Animal Advocates Radio podcast on YouTube. You should see this list, ladies. It gets out there. I'm so proud of this new podcast. It's such a
Good.
great celebration. One door closed and a new one open that's better, and it's voices are making making voices heard worldwide. Isn't this great? I
That's
love it. And
fantastic.
24 other podcast websites. I mean, there's iHeartRadio, Spotify, Player.fm, Podserve.fm. You should see this list. Amazon podcast, Apple podcast. So it gets out there, everyone. So if you're on the web right now and you want to join us in this chat room, you're going to have to open up a free account on podbean.com. Create it. You'll need your name or nickname and your email address, a password, and check I am not a robot. Create account and follow Voices Carry for Animals podcast. You're on the first step done, and then come over to Podbean podcast app and player on either Apple Store or Google Play, and install. And then follow Voices Carry for Animals podcast, and you're in, and you could join us. Okay, so there's just a. I know I was telling everyone, Blog Talk Radio was a walk in the park compared to this one, but hey, this modern technology, something else. It's great. But ladies, go ahead and give your Facebook pages out, and that way, after the show, they can go back and get all this information, and go from there, and how they can help out, because we are strength in numbers, and that's Mama Cat saying, because that's so true. The more of us that come together, the better and the stronger we become. But go right ahead. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so this is Kiersten. My group is Elephant Guardians of Los Angeles, and that's how we are on Facebook, Elephant Guardians of Los Angeles. And on Instagram, we are EGLA _ Billy. And then Cory, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead, Cory.
we're Los Angeles for Animals. That's all spelled out, or FOR, on Facebook, and we're more on Instagram. The same name on Instagram. So we primarily share things on Instagram, though we do put up our protest information and other things on Facebook.
Yeah,
But
Cory,
if
why
you
don't you
really
talk
want,
about that a little bit? What
um,
what you what your group organizes?
okay, so our group is in this whole fight is the In Front of the Zoo protest group. That's how I met Kiersten back in 2016, was that we decided to do rallies in front of the zoo, demanding the release of Billy. At that time, there was a motion just for Billy. And so we were in support of that. And we would get speakers, and we would do a lot of outreach to patrons. And we'd go about once a month, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pandemic hit and stopped all of that. And then 2.5 years ago, Los Angeles for Animals launched a protest campaign. And so we decided to take on just, actual protesting. So we're in front of the zoo every single weekend, at least once a week. Every weekend, but sometimes we throw in other protests during the week. And we protest in front of the zoo for 2 hours. We've been doing this solidly for 2.5 years. The only day we missed is when the fires were raging through Los Angeles, and the zoo wasn't even open, so we couldn't protest there. And we protest at, like, Los Angeles Zoo job fair. We protested them. We've held a political rally there at the zoo. We participated with Elephant Guardians on a few rallies, and with In Defense of Animals as well. We all work tightly together, but we're the protest wing, and our activists are amazing. And one thing I would like to ask any viewers who are in Oklahoma, specifically Tulsa, if you would like to get involved with this campaign to help Billy and Tina in your zoo and the other elephants there, message Los Angeles for Animals, preferably on Instagram, but you can also message us on Facebook. And we will tell you how you can help. And for instance, our next demo is Saturday. So we'll be out there from 10 in the morning till noon. And the zoo
And
hates us.
yeah, but
So,
you got to know you're not going away because you're not giving up. If you give
yeah,
up, then you automatically lose. So you
yeah.
gotta fight the good
Before
fight. Yep.
before Billy and Tina were sent away, the threat was always there that they would be sent to another zoo. And in our speak outs, in our chants, we would tell the zoo, if you send them anywhere else except for a sanctuary, we will still come back here every week. And we haven't missed a day. We've been protesting in front of that zoo, even without Billy and Tina in it. We are in support of the motion, and we are also in support of eventually getting the city to shut down having elephants in the zoo. And we think that's a real future possibility. They have an empty enclosure right now. We don't know what they're doing. They haven't said that they're not going to get any more elephants. They say they're leaving that option open. Well, not as far as we're concerned. So we will do everything, all of our groups, to keep this from happening, to keep them from making that same mistake. This zoo does not know how to take care of elephants, and they don't even care enough to take care of elephants. So it's not happening again. No one else is coming into the zoo as far as elephants go.
Yeah, I agree, Cory. That's what we're going to be calling for now in Los Angeles going forward is a permanent closure of the elephant program in Los Angeles. No more elephant captivity in Los Angeles. I mean, we would love to have no wildlife captivity at all, but you know,
Step by step.
small
Yeah.
steps, small steps. And of course,
And
we
this
will
one would be a
always be.
huge small step.
It would be a huge small step. Yes, thank you. And of course, we will always call for Billy and Tina's release
Yeah.
to sanctuary, along with all of these captive elephants, all of the elephants in Tulsa Zoo, and Lucy, and Happy and Patty in the Bronx Zoo, and Chandra in the Oregon Zoo. I mean, they're everywhere, and we know that none of them are thriving in these conditions. So,
Not
we would
only
love to
that,
see. Yeah,
but
go
we
ahead.
know that when they get released to sanctuary and we see the elephants arriving, for instance, in the Tennessee sanctuary, we see how they blossom, how
Yes.
they just embrace life. I don't know if you follow the Tennessee sanctuary, but the way that, like, for instance, Artie and Osh, two elephants, separate elephants, taken to the sanctuary separate time periods, they're beginning to like befriend one another. And it's just so beautiful. It's still behind barriers, and they may never be totally together to males, but it sure looks like a friendship to me. Um, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. For the
Yeah.
first time, you see elephants, knocking over trees like they should, foraging like they should. They have, liveliness in their step. They are
Yeah.
awake. They are
They're alive again.
experiencing life, and they are not standing there still in place, rather, bobbing their heads and swaying back and forth. They lose that because life is in front of them, all around them. Finally, they have somewhere to go and something to do. And for many of the elephants who are put together, they have someone to talk to. And that's, of course, the aim of these sanctuaries is to give them all of that, to give them a chance of what freedom feels like and what being social can possibly feel like if the elephant is receptive to that. And in the case of Artie and Osh, it's beautiful. It looks like they're ready to be pals.
And I just think, Cory, that was beautiful. Thank you. And I just want to add to that, in the case of Artie and Osh and several elephants that have recently been released to sanctuary, the zoos that they came from voluntarily released them. Osh came out of
Yeah,
here in California, came out of the Oakland Zoo. They voluntarily released their elephants to
yeah,
sanctuary. It's a growing trend
yeah.
that zoos themselves are starting to see. We cannot meet their needs in this type of environment. They need more than we can give them.
And the
Let's
Oakland
get them to
Zoo,
sanctuary.
right, the Oakland Zoo even admitted that. And
Yeah.
the way that the Oakland Zoo handled it, the whole thing, was amazing. They released two of their elephants to sanctuary, Donna and Osh, and they said why. They said, even though we're one of the larger exhibits in the country, it's not enough space for elephants, and it's not feasible for us to ever have enough space, for any zoo to have enough space. So therefore, we are doing what's right for these elephants and sending them to sanctuary. And when Osh, who left second, left finally, I followed the Instagram account for the zoo. That's it for Oakland. And the response was so beautiful. Everyone was going, "Oh my God, we'll miss the elephants so much, but you are doing the right thing. You are making a better life for these elephants." And on the other hand, so they were celebrated for doing this.
Hmm. Hmm.
And on the other hand, when LA shipped their Billy and Tina off to another zoo, the response of the city of LA was really negative. The LA Times, all of the almost all of the news media that covered it were pretty damning. I mean, they told both sides, but you could see where the hearts were. And when I was interviewed by all of that media, off camera, the people interviewing me were like, "Oh my God, thank you for doing this." So they couldn't say that so vocally on camera, but it was amazing. And, comments everywhere that LA Zoo did wrong by their elephants. So instead of being celebrated for doing the right thing, they are being totally denigrated for doing the wrong thing secretly in the middle of the night. Uh,
That was so sad. Read
yeah,
about that, and it was just devastating. How could they
devastating.
do that? I mean, Tina and Billy don't deserve that. They need to be in sanctuaries, just like Lucy the elephant in the Edmonton Zoo. Free
Yeah,
them. I had a show on Sankar out from India, Youth for Animals, Nikita Dwan. She was a guest several years ago. I got to have her back on. And it's just so, you hear these terrible stories, horrific. I mean, they're so cold hearted to even put them through this. They're not happy in there. They're forced. They're in prison. There's no other word to explain it. Animal slavery needs to stop. This profit before animals is so out of control. Just by doing all these shows on different from different angles, it's like, come on, this greed, this being narcissistic, just about me, money, money, money. It needs to stop, and to have empathy and mercy on these animals, because it's no life form. I mean, I love seeing all those pictures where all the elephants are out in the wild and they're having fun and even swimming and
Right, exactly.
everything.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
I love those photos.
enjoying life.
I do not
Yeah.
like the ones that you see them in the zoos and they're unhappy and people just come up and looking at them, and they're miserable, stressed out, and it's terrible. So everyone, we have to end this. So we got to get with the times and say no more.
Yeah.
I
Thank you,
mean,
Debbie.
yeah, no more. Enough is enough. And how long it takes to get them freed. I remember when Nosy the elephant got released to a
Yeah,
sanctuary. I seen that coming through no news feed. I had happy tears coming out of my eyes.
absolutely.
And she got her own law in New Jersey, Nosey's law, no wild animals in
Yeah,
circus and stuff. I was like, that takes teamwork all the way. That's all what it's all about. The more
right.
team players, strong leaders, and strong supporters, it leads to strong victories, and that's what we got to see, everyone. That's what our goals are. We're not going to give up. I'm not just with this podcast. It's not the only thing I do. I'm on social media on X and LinkedIn and Facebook, sharing how to help animals. They don't have a voice. With our voices, the animals will be heard. With our actions, the animals will seek freedom. Okay, and that's the bottom line. So if there's only a handful of us, we're only spinning our wheels. So we got to keep growing and growing, encouraging people to join us because there's millions of people in the United States. Come on board. Get on this train for freedom for these animals because that's what they so well deserve. I look at
Yeah.
Billy and Tina and I say, oh my goodness, what they're going through. I mean, this is so heartless and cruel. And so, anyone out there that's listening, do what you can to help these. I mean, all these elephants out, or whatever animals out there, every effort counts. Help make that change. Because if you don't look the other way, it's just going to get worse. And they can't talk. They can't report to us how they feel. We can see the photos and the videos that they're not happy. They're
Mhm.
uncomfortable. Okay,
Well, yeah, they can talk. We just
that,
don't understand their language.
there you go. Exactly.
They
Yep.
have voices. We don't
Yep.
hear those voices. They don't mean anything to us.
Yep.
And, one thing that people can do to help in general is, like one, don't go visit zoos. Probably most people on this podcast don't visit zoos, but definitely talk to, your friends and neighbors about why you don't go to zoos. What's wrong with it? And in most places, like in the LA area, there are animal sanctuaries that people can visit. Places like the big elephant sanctuaries aren't open to the public, but there are in this area, for instance, there are farmed animal sanctuaries that welcome people. Gentle Barn has a sanctuary here, and every Sunday they open their doors, and you can mingle with the animals. You can if your children want to have an experience with animals that are kind of strange to them, like real cows and chickens and pigs, there are sanctuaries that are equipped to handle the public, that don't um, that aren't open for greed, that by definition of sanctuary is a place for animals that is for them, for
Mhm.
them only. So they're not places, sanctuaries aren't places of entertainment, but some of them open their doors and you can come and visit them for a donation. And one thing that we do in our outreach at the zoo is that we have lists of places that people can take their children instead of going to the zoo. Um, and I think that's really helpful.
Yeah,
And
that
also,
is.
yeah.
Thank you.
And one thing we also tell people in our outreach. I mean, some of our outreach is loud protesting, but we've got 2 teams at work at any time on the ground there. And we've got a lot of outreachers that talk to individual patrons. And so many totally understand where we're coming from, but they promise their kids to a day at the zoo, etc. And one thing I say to them, I say, sure, go in. You've already promised your kids, so do go in, but see it with open eyes. Now that you've heard what we say about zoos, when you go in, actually look at those animals. Do they look happy? Do they look natural? Or do they look like they're being just used for our purposes? And that, and once you know this, once you get this idea, then I think everything changes for you. And then what happens is people like this, they tell their coworkers, oh, when they say, what did you do on the weekend? We went to the zoo. Oh, that's great. Did you have fun? Well, no, we didn't, because we saw how unhappy all the animals were. We saw what kind of living conditions they were in. And then that starts conversations at work. That starts conversations where when you're at dinner with friends, with other family members. And that's a powerful way to actually get the public to
Yeah.
start thinking about animals and not just listening to us.
And that's
Because,
something everyone
yeah,
can do.
anyone can do
Yeah,
that.
anyone can be doing that. We can just be having these conversations in our lives with the people that we're around. And also, I wanted to mention that something people can do, as we talked about earlier, is to follow both of our organizations, because right now our city council's on recess, but they'll be coming back from recess in August, and we're still trying to get a full hearing on this motion, because this will expose what happened. We may get some answers about what happened. We may see what the zoo actually considered. We're still working with the city council. That Councilmember Bob Blumenfeld is still really engaged in trying to get help for these elephants. So we're still trying to get a full hearing with the city council. So there'll be calls to action around that. And like Cory mentioned, we also are going to be calling for ending the elephant program in Los Angeles.
Good, wishing you the best of luck and whatever. Hey, I'd love to have you guys back, you two ladies back on again. Okay, so keep
Thank
Okay,
following
you.
my
yeah.
podcast, and I'll send you, the email invitation, and connect right there. That is, or you could come in from the app. You have to download the app, Podbean podcast app and player, and then follow Voices Care for Animals, and then click on the app, and then you're going to, and it should read that the show is starting up. It does on Apple phones, and then click to join. Okay, and give a big shout out to Kate McFall. She's in the chat room. Hi, Kate. She was a guest several weeks ago for Humane, or she's a Florida State director and she did another great show, um, Humane World for Animals. Okay, hello, Kate. And also want to give a shout out to the Ralph William podcast. He's tuning in and then in the chat room. Thank you so much, Ralph Williams. It's on Podbean. There's so many podcasts on here, everyone. You can check them out for animals and everything. And it's just the Podbean has got it going on. Okay. So, but ladies, are you ready to take some calls? And we
Sure.
always run past the 7 o'clock because I put it up to 2 hours. So if we run over, I don't get shut down that quick. All right,
Oh,
but
okay. Yeah, we'd be happy to
yeah,
take some questions.
and Marilyn Blazer's in here. Hey,
Yeah,
Marilyn,
I saw
how
Marilyn
are
join.
you? Yes, I hope you call in. And we got Barbara Levette want to speak. Okay,
Oh,
let me
good.
bring her. Yeah, she wants to speak. So this is wonderful. And Barb, you're going to be live and on the air. How are you? Can you hear me? Okay, I'm gonna get her connected here. If there's a phone icon or a mic icon at the bottom of the screen, that'll alert me, everyone, that you want to speak on air. Okay, and just try to refrain from any noises in the background, radios, TVs, conversations, and you're more than welcome to come on board. But I'm trying to get Barbara in here. Barbara, can you hear me? Or send me one of those invitations to come on air. Okay, at the bottom of your screen, a phone icon or a mic icon. And press it and it'll alert me that you want to come on air, okay? And you're more than welcome to speak. And if anybody else wants to, okay, here we go. Okay, Barbara, you're live and on the air. Welcome to this new Podbean podcast. How are you? Can you hear me? Hello? I'm trying to get her connected. I'm just trying to. This is she's from Save Nosy Now, so she was on many shows for Nosy and everything. Okay, Barbara, you're on speaker now. Go right ahead. Welcome to Podbean Podcast app.
Hi.
How are
Hi,
you?
Debbie. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Oh,
can.
great, great. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad to hear Kiersten and Cory talking tonight about our beloved Billy and Tina. We've been working on them for so long, and I know that they're so frustrated with this whole process. But I have to just say that I think that we're making progress. I've been
Yeah,
doing this work since about 2008 on captive dolphins and orcas and elephants. And I've seen great progress over those years since then. I think what we're finding is that a lot of the zoos and circuses are not getting the people that they used to get. Zoos
absolutely.
are not able to hold elephants in such a way that they're progressing and thriving in
Hmm.
zoos. I think one of the telling points of that just recently was when the Louisville Zoo sent their elephants Mickey and Punch to the elephant
Yeah,
sanctuary in Tennessee.
Hmm.
And the director there, Dan Maloney, said that the gap continues to widen between what we can realistically provide our aging elephants and our evolved understanding of their geriatric needs.
good
But
quote.
what I don't like about what he's saying, of course, is that elephants are moved only because they're geriatric.
True.
Geriatric in zoo terms is very young. I mean, Mickey and
Mm,
Punch are in their 40s. They should have been
right,
sent to sanctuary some time ago. They never should have been in the zoo in the first place. But
Right.
knowing that the director says something like this at a major zoo in this country tells us that there is progress being made, that people will no longer look at elephants the same way because of the education that's happening and the forethought and the awareness that we have that we can impart on the public. Education is always key, as you know, and money is ruling the world, as I said earlier on the chat thing, that money is the root of all evil. And it becomes that so for the Louisville Zoo and for all the zoos, but they're finding that they are not able to take care of their elephants in their geriatric sense because they're not thriving there because of lack of stimulation, lack of company, lack of good food and medication, lack of browse and foraging, lack of mud wallows, and all the natural behaviors that elephants need. Many elephants, of course, are put together in zoos and they're unrelated to each other, so they don't do well in those kinds of
right.
environments. And you
Hmm.
and like Cory said, when you see Artie and Osh and some of the other elephants that have gone to the sanctuary in Tennessee, they are just doing so well. And they're
Yeah,
starting to exhibit their own behaviors. I've just watched recently, and a lot of us elephant lovers just watched an elephant named Kenya,
Hmm.
an
Kenya
African elephant, moved to the global sanctuary for elephants in Brazil. And
and
she come
Poopy.
from a terrible zoo and had a terrible life,
Yeah,
but look at what she's doing now. She's knocking over trees. She's playing in the mud wallow. She's getting down on her knees and having great old time.
it's beautiful.
She's turned the color red from the beautiful soil in Brazil. She was gray
Yeah,
when she arrived. I mean, they just thrive. But
and she's starting to meet Poopy as well,
yeah,
who
she's
was
starting to be
also a
okay.
recent arrival.
Yes.
And it's
It's
just,
such a beautiful, beautiful
mm,
thing. So I
yeah,
just wanted to just say those things and say that we do have hope. There is a lot of hope out there when we can get a little circus elephant from Florida released to the sanctuary because her owners were so cruel, because that
yeah,
was
Mhm.
Nosy.
Yeah.
Nosy's been in
yeah.
sanctuary now since 2017.
That's
She's our
Wow.
greatest
amazing.
achievement, our
Wow.
greatest
That's
success.
amazing, Barbara.
But other elephants are still in our sites. As you said, there's so many out there. There's Bubbles in Myrtle Beach, and Asha
Mm,
in Florida. We've got Billy and Tina. We've got so many others. Lucy in Edmonton.
yeah.
We have to be extremely aware of what's going on with them and continue to fight this good fight. And I know you two are fighting it every day, and I appreciate you so much.
Oh,
And
thank you,
you.
Barbara.
Yes, thank
And
you.
you know how much I appreciate you, Barbara, and it's so good to hear your voice. Thank you for coming on the show today. And I, as we often say when we're talking to each other, Nosy is our poster child. I
Yeah,
mean, the
Yes.
transformation of Nosy from when she was a circus elephant to who she is now, who she truly was born to be, and how
yeah.
that has just blossomed in sanctuary is just it's just the success story that we want for every elephant.
Stunning.
So it's just amazing, Barbara.
Yeah,
And
she's done so well, and I like you said, she is a poster child. She
she
can be the
is
story that we all tell to those
right.
Yeah.
people who are uneducated and uninformed about what happens to elephants and circuses and zoos when they're in such dire straits and need to be in a sanctuary. I mean, I have every feeling in my heart that Nosy would not be with us today had it not been
Mhm.
for the fact that she got to the sanctuary,
I
because she
think
was
that's right.
carrying a chronic urinary tract infection. She had terrible foot disease and arthritis. She would not be with us today. I am sure she would have died by now had she stayed with that circus family. So
All
thank
right.
goodness we
Yeah,
were able to get her out.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you for your complete dedication to her.
Oh, you're welcome.
absolutely.
That
It's
is
my
really
pleasure and my greatest success.
Yeah,
well, that's a huge one. So and we, as Cory and I have been saying, we will never stop advocating for Billy and Tina wherever they send them, for Billy and Tina
right.
to be released someday to sanctuary. So we
And I
just
know
hope
you
that
won't.
everyone just keeps, social media, with talking to family and friends wherever you are, talking about these issues, talking about these elephants, talking about how we need to get them to sanctuary. We need to get Billy and Tina out. We need to get Lucy out, all of them. Um, and, we all hope that they have that happy ending that Nosy had.
Me
Yeah,
too. Me too. That's my greatest wish.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank you,
Barbara.
girls. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about this very important subject.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
And one thing I'd like to say again, too, I don't know if I really made this clear, but on the protests that we're doing here in LA, anyone is welcome. So follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Los Angeles for Animals, for our weekly protests. Come down, look for me, and you'll be welcomed with open arms. People will love to see you.
And I know you'll be posting pictures too. And I put that on the voicescaryforanimals.com website also, okay? And I've been sharing it all over the
Oh, I saw
groups.
you shared the
Yes,
protest. Yeah,
yes,
thank you
and
so much.
hey, my pleasure always.
Yeah,
Anything I can help out, and I got it on my website, and I'm passing it where I admin on groups and pages. My Voices Carry for Animals podcast on
yeah,
Facebook. Voices Carry for Animal Support Group on Facebook, and I'm going to be putting it on X also, and also on LinkedIn. Okay, But hey, it takes teamwork
Wonderful.
all the way, and keep
Yeah,
sharing it because not everybody's on social media same times of day. So it's
true.
always good to reshare, retweet, or
Yeah,
because sometimes it gets down so far in the news feed that they're not going to see it. Just like this
exactly.
show. That's why, hey, you follow it on the app, and that way you'll get alerted on your phone or laptop or
Right.
tablet, iPad that is starting up. Click to join right there, bam. Or you could listen to it from the website, but I have to get those promos out. And a big shout out to everyone out there on Facebook, the followers involved, and the friends, and the groups, and the pages. And thanks, Barb. She even shared it through Save Nosy Now. And I thought,
Yeah,
it's like, this is great, And on X, I tag a lot of followers and also big animal groups. Big shout out to all of them because I can't do it alone. I need teamwork. Fans of Animal Rights has over 300 some thousand likes. They help me every Thursday. Fiona, thank
nice.
you so much. And I mean, this has been going on for years. I was like, this inspires me and uplifts me to keep going and not give up. And whatever I can do. So this Saturday, everyone, if you're in LA, hey, attend, get those signs going. You can go to the dollar stores, get you some poster boards, make your own. I've done that,
Yeah.
and it's you're getting
And we
into
have
it and
signs
peaceful.
too. If you don't have one, we have
Yep.
signs as well. And it's free parking, tons of free parking at the zoo.
Yep. So the more out there, the better, everyone, because
Yep.
getting their attention and saying, "Hey," But does anybody else want to speak on air? You're more than welcome to either Cory or Kiersten. And yeah, we got some time. So if maybe
Yeah,
yeah, go
someone.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Carolyn. Go ahead. But thank
Hello,
you for
hi,
connecting. Yes. Go.
greetings, greetings, Barbara, and I'm sorry, I just got on here. I was taking a break from the laptop and listening, but I wanted to ask, since nowadays everything's going tech, how are we able to spread awareness of these issues concerning animal cruelty?
So, you're talking about how we're getting the message out to the public?
Yes, because
Yeah.
pretty much if you don't have a computer nowadays, pretty much everyone is screwed.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, what we've found is our most valuable tool right now is social media. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where we're getting out on Facebook and Instagram, and I know there's lots of other platforms that people are using, and also all these platforms that Debbie's talking about. I mean, Debbie does amazing getting the
I
message out there on
agree.
all kinds of issues. So that's
Well,
really what Cory and I have been using.
we depend on those things, but print media like LA Times um, has several times advocated for Billy and Tina. They had a board editorial about a year ago that was saying it's time for Billy to go to sanctuary. I mean, they've been pretty upfront about it. Other local papers carry stories on Billy and Tina. Their radio spot, programs that when something happens, they share it too. But by far, everything, yes, is looked at through your phone. But, there's also, TV news stories and things like that. But as far as us getting word out, yes,
Mhm.
it's very tech oriented and low tech. I mean, emails, a lot of groups send out emails,
Well,
but
and also, Cory, you talked about just having those conversations with people.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be adversarial. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It can just be
Mhm.
a conversation. Like if you hear people at work talking about going to the zoo, you can just say, "Oh, what did you think?" And you'd be surprised at the things people end up saying. I had a woman at work. She had taken her daughter to the zoo over the weekend, and I just said, "Oh, tell me about it. What did you think?" And she said, "Well, my daughter thought the animals were really sad."
Yeah.
so people can see
Mhm.
it. And it's interesting if you
Right.
just ask what, people are, they want to talk about it.
Yeah, and and one thing that we do is kind of give them permission to feel that way, because a lot of people think that zoos are supposed to be a happy place. So when they go and they see that it's not, they almost don't feel like they should be the downer that talks about, oh no, it was awful. But you let them know that no, this is a widely held point of view. You are right. When you see this, like the little girl and many children, many animal rights people I've heard, um, their eyes were awakened from zoos. Their family took them to a zoo, took them to a circus, took them to a rodeo, and
Mm,
they were like appalled and
yes.
wondering why why their other friends weren't. So, you give one, yeah. So when we spread the word, we don't have to spread the word. The public that we talk to, they can go and spread the word.
Yes, because people like Jane Goodall and her generation, not many are
Right.
tech savvy, and they want to get involved, but they're not tech savvy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one way
So,
in LA you can be involved. Well,
mm,
you'd have to know about the demos through social media. But then once you come to one, then you pretty much are hooked in. You
mhm.
know,
Yeah, I hear what you're
I
saying
don't
though.
know. It's hard.
I see that you're just on here as Aloha. I don't know your name. I apologize.
It's
But
Harry Lynn.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
um
my username.
yeah, it's nice to meet you. But I
Nice
do
to
hear
meet you
what you're
too.
saying, that if you're
Mhm.
not involved in that digital kind of world where these conversations are happening, it's hard to kind of get linked in. Yeah.
Because 30 years ago, it was the internet, and now it's AI.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering if there's a way I could get the message across to the older generation that wants to
Yeah,
get involved.
that's a really good question.
Hmm.
I mean, if they're not using the digital platforms and they're not using email, I really think it's going to have to just be conversations or just meeting up with people. I
And
don't even
another
know how
thing
you could.
is that lots of old people, I'm old, I'm in my seventh decade. So, are tech savvy, and they do go out. I go to Palestine demos. I go to the immigrants protests and stuff like this, and I see all sorts of people my age there who are out and participating. So I think that to some extent this thing about older generation doesn't have isn't connected. I don't think that's entirely true.
Oh no, I didn't
And
mean that way.
yeah,
I just wanted to connect with those that are not tech savvy because the
that
city
aren't,
I live
yeah,
in, it's a small town, and majority of them are in their 80s.
yeah, small
Yeah.
towns are harder, yeah, just because
Yes.
there's not much going around
Hmm.
that's happening physically in them.
Well, Corey, one thing that your group does is you put up flyers around town, just written
So yes,
information. They
that's
put up.
I forgot about that. Yes,
Yeah.
we are putting flyers that were made for Last Chance for Animals and by Non-Human Rights Project. We are posting them on telephone poles right now, and they talk about what people can do. So yes, that's very old school. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that subject up, because yes, I forgot. We do non-tech stuff.
Thankfully, because I'm in my 40s and I just want to get the message across who are older than me. Not to say age is a big issue, but just thought I'd throw it out there.
And the other thing too, maybe if it's, if you're in a small town, I don't know if maybe your library has some kind of forum where people
Yes.
can come in
Oh,
and
good
give
idea.
presentations. And the library may have a
Oh
way
my
that they
God.
get information out to people, or if there's some kind of community center that would let you come in and just table. Another thing you can do is if there's a farmer's market, you can ask them if you can just have an informational booth. And you can just talk to people that are coming through the farmer's market, or if there's some kind of craft fair, or if there's just a public park where they would let you have a table and just talk to families that are coming to the park on the weekends. We've used to do that a lot. We used to go to different
Yes.
kinds of festivals, and Corey and I did many tables together,
Yeah.
where we would just talk to people all day long about the issues. There was really no tech involved, except somehow, people had to get the information from whoever was holding the event to be there.
But
But
then that was often carried on the news and the radio. So,
Mm,
um,
yes.
so they did a lot of low tech stuff to get that
yeah,
information out. My God, I love this question. It's,
Yes, because
yeah,
most
um,
older generations prefer face-to-face converses.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
noticed that.
yeah.
Yes,
Go ahead, Shaunzi.
the social media is our landing strip. That's why I get out there, share, share, share. Like don't say, serve no justice. Neither does the happy or the sad or the mad. If press that share gets a news feed, maybe a few couple people won't do nothing, but next three might, and it goes
yeah,
viral.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I like on petitions. I've seen some petitions out there that get 10,000 signatures because I track them in a 24-hour period. And I was like, wow, check this out. This really is really happening. So keep working
yeah.
together as a team. And
And
yeah, we got another caller, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Debbie.
Y'all, Harlan,
yeah,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you,
She's
Harold.
she's my awesome Facebook friend. She always loves love your support there, Harlan, and
Yeah,
thanks
that
for
was a
all you're
great question.
doing.
Thank you.
Yes, it is. And Darla, you're live and on the air. How are you? Can you
Doing
hear
good.
me?
I want to thank everybody for everything they're doing for the elephants. I'm following everybody between Lucy and this and that. And I do have a question. Did any kind of um fallback happen with Indu being murdered at Phoenix Zoo?
Uh,
I'm sorry, but you cut out. Could you repeat your question? My sound just completely cut out for a minute there while you were talking. I'm so sorry.
No worries. I just had a question. With Indu being murdered
Hmm.
at Phoenix Zoo, did
Hmm.
anything happen because of that? Is any more pressure being
Yeah,
put on
I know
Phoenix?
that in Defense of Animals has an active campaign related to Indu. In
Mhm.
Defense of Animals just held an online memorial for Indu, which was
Yeah,
really beautiful.
I
Which is
saw it.
another. Oh, you did. Oh, good, good. Yeah, it was beautiful. Um, and I don't know what kind of actions they're going to have going forward. They're still trying to find out, why they euthanized her. They don't really know, because I'm sure, Darla, it seems like you've been following this, that the zoo had
Hmm.
just like a month earlier said that Indu was doing well. And then the next thing we knew, they euthanized her. It felt like it was out of nowhere. It was a complete shock to everyone. So I know that In Defense of Animals is really working to try to get some answers on that. As far as any other actions that are happening, I don't know. I would go to maybe their website, and I know they have pages on their website dedicated to elephants. They have
Hmm.
a whole elephant campaign. They're very involved in the Billy and Tina campaign. I work very closely with
very,
their
very.
elephant consultant.
I'm
Um,
involved in everybody's campaigns right now. So
yeah, they do a lot of good work in defense of animals, but I really think they are the ones that are actively pursuing what happened with Indu. But
okay.
that. Thank you for thinking of her, because that is just a tragedy. I'm completely with you in that.
Yeah,
Sad. It's like whoa.
horrible.
There's so many horrific stories out there, and we gotta not look the other way. We gotta, in order to see change, we got to take action. You know, no questions asked to make better lives and futures for these animals. Not keep all this. This cruelty going on. This greed. It's terrible. They all deserve so much better. We are their voices, everyone. Don't be silent. Don't look the other way, or sweep it under the carpet. Know what's going on behind the scenes, behind closed doors, and you're not going to like it. I know I don't. That's why I have this platform for so many of them, and we'll
Right.
not stop. We have to come together and be one voice and be a strong one and
Mm-hmm.
see them victories coming in. And that's the main thing here. Our goals. We're not here just to be sitting there spinning our wheels and not seeing any changes.
Right.
We're fighting hard out there. So all your voices and actions really do matter. Every effort counts out there. Whatever it takes. Help Billy and Tina out. Help, Lucy the elephant out. Help Shankar out in India. There's so many of them. You
So many.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like whoa, it doesn't stop. It's like a revolving door. So
Right,
we have to do better. I mean, you say, oh, well, nothing's going to happen. Yes, look at Nosy, how that happened. And
right.
Barbara, I'd love to have you back on the air because she didn't stop there. She seen a big victory and she kept going.
Oh,
She's
but yeah,
out.
Barbara always keeps going. Barbara's
Yeah,
amazing.
she is relentless. I mean, she has got her voice. And Barbara, I'm going to be getting hold of you, bring you back on because we go way back. It was 2017 when Nosy got released to a sanctuary. So we're going probably back to. I'll have to look it up, but probably back to 2012, or I'm not sorry, 2015, 2014 when I first started in June. I'll have to look it up, but I said we're not going to give up. The more exposure, the better having these shows. So it's not just one time come on and disappear. No, we got to keep it in the spotlight. Don't let it fizzle out. We got some serious issues going on here, and we got to be a part of the solutions, not the ongoing problems. Make it better. We're their only hope. These animals' only hope to carry on. They'll especially thank us. They can't tell us, but we know when their life's turned to better. Look at Nosy. I mean, she's so happy in Tennessee sanctuary. I see videos of her, puts a big smile on my face because I know Barbara and her supporters. They were working hard to get her to freedom, and that's what happened to all the rest of them. We can't give up. We cannot give up. Okay, keep it
That's
up.
right.
Yep.
Thank you,
And
Debbie. That's exactly right.
yep. So we
Yeah, thank you.
yep. So and Barbara, thank you for showing up tonight.
Oh, you're
And
welcome.
that and keep up the great work. And I'll be getting with you to come on the show. Okay. Eh,
Okay, sounds
eh,
great. I'm
You,
really looking forward to talking again about anything you want to talk about
you bring
related
it
to
up.
elephants.
Yeah, they're so awesome. Huh? They're gentle giants. I mean, you look at Diana Munez and Colby Steiner. They've been on the show before. For the
Mhm.
gentle giants, and you look at these elephants and you say, hey, they deserve the freedom. They deserve to be running around with their families and being happy. Swimming and jumping around and knocking trees down. That's what they want. They don't want to be standing still so people would just stare at them and wow, it's an elephant. We got to get with the times and get them to freedom, but they so well deserve. That's no life in there. And Billy and Tina, we can't give up, and I know you ladies are not giving up, and I'm standing with
No.
you. You know,
Thank you,
And
standing
Debbie.
with you.
this is
Yep,
Barbara. Can I ask a question of Cory and Chris and Kiersten?
of
Uh,
course.
is are Billy and Tina still owned or whatever whatever their status might be? What is their status with the
That is
Los
that's
Angeles
a good
Zoo?
that's a good question, and it's unclear. Tina was never owned by Los Angeles. Tina was always owned by San Diego Zoo. She was
Okay.
on loan to Los Angeles, so her and then Billy was owned by Los Angeles, but the status now is unclear, and we're trying to get to the bottom of that. It's a really good
Okay, good.
question.
Yeah, that would be good to know because that would change in how you go about getting after these people and finding out who the real players are.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I think right now, since we don't know, we're taking it from a multitude of angles, but we're still holding the zoo accountable, LA
Good.
Zoo accountable.
Yes, they should be.
They
Exactly.
should
Yeah.
be. We don't want them to feel comfortable and at peace. We want to
Yeah, yeah,
keep
no,
at
there is
them.
no peace. There's no
No,
peace.
no. We have to stay on them. We got to tell them we're not going away. It's not going to be that easy.
Yeah, and
We are in it to win it.
had they released Billy and Tina to a sanctuary, even without promising never to get other elephants back, we probably would have gone away. You know, if
Hmm.
Belly and Tina were in a sanctuary, we probably would have closed the campaign down, at least that kind of active, like nonstop campaign.
And
But
they would have
now,
gotten so much goodwill
oh, so
from the
much
city of
goodwill.
Los
The
Angeles and
LA
and
Zoo,
around the world. Just like
yeah,
just like Oakland Zoo did, like Cory was saying about
exactly.
Oakland Zoo.
And
And
the you look at zoo reviews, we keep track of them, and like people do not like the zoo. It's it's really falling apart, but the fact that they visibly do not care for their animals, and the fact that they don't care for them so much that they would just ship Billy and Tina out really hammers that home to the public. It really is, kind of a deal breaker. Are we on?
Oh yeah, yeah. You're on. I
I,
thought I thought I lost audio for a minute. Psych.
yeah.
Hey, but
And there's other problems with this zoo too. I don't want to get into this issue, but the zoo has something called the Vision Plan, where the zoo is in Griffith Park, which is natural, open. It's a huge park that's um, in its natural California state. And the zoo wants to take acreage from this and just mow it down, just destroy it and build more space there. And this isn't sitting well with the public either.
yeah, they actually pretty much got shut down on that whole plan when they were trying to push that through, and Sierra Club got involved, and it became a big deal. The LA Times did a big editorial on it, and they had to really scale back. I mean, they still are, there are some things they want to do, but it's really questionable about where the money's coming from for these plans.
Yeah,
So
true,
yeah,
because LA
there's a
itself
lot of
is,
issues. There's a lot of
yeah,
issues going on with this zoo right now. That is true.
got to keep making progress. Don't give up, ladies. We got to do this. Get these animals to freedom. That means so much. We love our freedom, and so do they. And then they're just in captivity. And it's so wrong. So
Yeah.
we have to stick together. Teamwork. It's all about teamwork all the way, because that's
Well,
what it takes.
yeah.
Strong teamwork and working together and help making them changes. And it can't get no easier from help make changes from the comfort of your home, your phone, your computer, your copier, if you got a fax. It can't get no easier. And you got social media there, and it doesn't take that long. I what I could get done in an hour, I pull up like four tabs, and then copy and paste a lot. Getting the information out there, or if it's call to action, and it's amazing. I mean, I do it so fast it makes my head spin. I was like, wow, but I've been doing it for years, and I'm
Hmm.
good and fast at it, and I don't mind it at all because I know I'm being a positive impact in this world. I cross
Yes, you are.
multitask, and I help out stop elder abuse. I have a support group on there, so I try to help out in that area too. Because listen to this figure: over 5 million of the elderly out there a year get abused, neglected, exploited, and that's what's only what reported. Isn't that sad and disgusting?
Yeah,
And
that's horrible.
whoa, and I look and I was like, what is going on here? And and this is from the National Center on Elder Abuse. It's like,
Wow.
what kind of excuses is for this? You're supposed to live your last, in your golden years, not golden nightmares. And with this group I have, you used to hear the horrific stories on there. And it's
Wow.
like, this has got to give somewhere. Our birthdays don't stop here.
Right.
It is looks shady out there. But when we all multitask and help each other out, hey, jump over, help the dogs out, or the cats, or the elephants, the horses, because then we double in strength, we triple in strength, we quadruple in strength. The more voices come in, the better. And it's not that difficult to do. With these shows, look, voices carry for animals is for all animals, and voices do carry for animals if there's enough of us. And when you see those victories come in, I see them coming in. I was like, wow, this is great. I know I'm not spinning my wheels. I know I can't take credit. It takes a human chain reaction to take action. Is the goal. Take that action, everyone. Don't look behind. Don't look away. Don't ignore it and say, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." No, do something about it.
Hmm.
It's bring them numbers down, decrease, not increase or stay the same. And when we all work together, that's what it takes. And Darla, I want to. Darla helps out. I see her on social media. That's where I met her, and she's been a big supporter here on thank you, Darla. And I see her supporting a lot of Lucy and everything, and also Tina and Billy, all of them. Thank you, Darla, and this show. And cross multitasking. So is Mama Cat. She's the Mama Cat. If you want to get on there, you're more than welcome. She's a former guest. Takes care of over 100 colony cats. Big heart of gold,
Wow.
over 100 of them. That's why I call her Mama Cat, because her profile picture is her face. She got whiskers and everything, and she's came in and filled in on the show, and she's been a great team player too. So, and Marilyn, if you want to speak on air, you're more than welcome. Just there's a at the bottom of the screen. There's a phone icon or mic icon, and to alert me you want to come on air. Okay, and you're more than welcome. You bring up Lucy the elephant. We all need to come together as one. That's what it takes is that teamwork. I believe in teamwork all the way. Don't you, ladies? That's what it takes.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's what
Yeah.
it takes. We become stronger and better and strength in numbers. But Marilyn, you're more than welcome to come on board. She was a former guest of mine with Vigil for Elephants in January. Every January I got the honor of being, you know, involved with them, a host and everything. So that makes me proud because of promotion for their regular one. I haven't looked at the calendar, but they've been doing it every year, and it's a great show. Everyone, it is sad, it's heartbreaking of all the elephants that died the previous year and in captivity. And
Yeah.
it's like they didn't have no lives, they just stayed there and just, had to. They was forced to stay there. And we don't want to be forced to any professions that we don't want to do. That's the human way, but they are forced and they suffer and behind closed doors how they're treated, and then
Yeah.
they get health issues. They don't have no kind of life, a prison life, so but
Right.
yeah, I think Marilyn left, but you know
Hello.
Okay.
hey,
Yeah.
there's Mama Cat. Hey, Mama Cat, how are you?
What's up, everybody?
Meow. That's the one that has over 100 colony cats she takes care of. She got a heart of gold. They see her coming and they do a standing ovation. Meow, 100 meows. Go ahead, Mama Cat. So glad to see you in here. Thanks for all your support and joining us. Go ahead.
Well, this is a very important cause, and I don't think it gets near enough attention, actually. But we got to just keep sharing it where we can. Um, I'm pretty sad about the fact that It seems the only time these zoos give a crap about these elephants is when they get sick, and then they pretend that they're doing the great thing by putting them to sleep. What are they doing?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's
Right.
ridiculous. Well, we'll just keep them until they're ready to croak, and then we'll end their suffering. Well, seems to me the suffering that they're suffering is because of them. You
Yeah,
know,
you're exactly right. You're exactly right, Mama Cat. That's a
ridiculous.
very good point. And that's sadly what happened with our beloved Jewel and Shaunzi at the Los Angeles Zoo. Both of them were euthanized just recently.
Yeah.
When they could have gone to sanctuary, they could have at least spent their last years, in a healing environment where they could have had autonomy and dignity and, had the chance to be elephants, and they were denied all of that.
And how long were they at that zoo?
Well, Jewel was brought in with Tina to the Los Angeles Zoo in 2010, but she had been a circus elephant her entire life. She was stolen as an infant out of someplace in Asia and sold into the circus industry. Shaunzi had a similar story. She was younger. She was only in her early 50s, but she had been a circus elephant and then was brought into the Fresno Chaffee Zoo, and then in 2017 transferred over to the Los Angeles Zoo. So these elephants, they undergo multiple transfers. They just ship them around between zoos for various reasons. Sometimes it's for breeding, all kinds of reasons, and it's not an easy life for them, as you
I
well
always thought
know.
that they were doing that breeding to repopulate the herds, but they're not doing
No,
that.
they are
They
not.
just
They are
ship them off
not.
to other zoos.
That they are breeding baby elephants to restock their zoo supplies. They are not breeding elephants to go back into the wild. It
So
is not conservation.
why are we supporting their breeding programs then? Aren't those funded by tax dollars?
I guess it would depend on the zoo, whether the zoo is a city-owned zoo or a private zoo, or how they're raising their funding. I mean, Los Angeles is a city-owned zoo, but it also has a private fundraising mechanism. Although there's issues there too, and that may be going away. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, that's a good question. Why are we supporting this? The only answer I have for you is that people don't really understand what's going on, and they like to see baby elephants.
Yeah,
They don't understand the life that well, first of all, that this baby is most likely going to die very young, and you'll see that in our vigil, when we have our vigil for elephants, and thank you, Debbie, for supporting that, and giving us a shout out for that. You'll see that there's always a lot of babies dying of that elephant endotheliotropic herpes virus and other
right,
things. People don't understand what life this baby's being born into, and and that's why education is so important. That's why we just have to keep at it, like Debbie's saying, keep doing these shows, keep putting it out there on social media, keep having these hard conversations, so that people understand this is no life for these incredible beings. It's no life for any wild animal. I mean, the bottom line is we've got to end captivity. It is an old domination paradigm that needs to end. We need to shift away from this domination of the natural world to really, going back to respecting their right to live their natural life in their natural home in their communities. They are not objects for us to use for our profit and our amusement. So that's really where it all needs to go back to, shifting that paradigm.
right. Yeah,
Agreed.
and teaching the young kids these days about what's going on is going to be important too. So
Yeah,
that they're aware of what's really happening.
exactly.
That's right, and no sugarcoat it.
Mm.
No getting saying, "Oh, well, it's okay." No, it's not okay. When you educate children and to respect animals and with dignity and respect, then they grow through their adulthood doing the same, and to stand up for them. Look at all of us. I mean, we love animals. I mean, it's obvious. We want to we're their voices, and we got to be heard. The louder we
Right.
bark, the more we're heard. But be professional and polite about it, and you'll get farther.
Well,
You
and we
know,
can't sugarcoat it.
no,
When I
no.
when I go into the schools and I do speeches and talks about TNR and feral cats and whatever. Um, they got all bent out of shape because I was talking about euthanasia rates. And I told them these kids are in the fifth grade. They're not stupid. They know what euthanasia is. They hear it all the time. They just don't know what it means. And I think until they know exactly what that means, it means nothing to them. It's just another word, in a vocabulary. And the kids were very interested in what I had to say about, how many cats and dogs are euthanized in an animal shelter where you think that the animal is supposed to be safe. So if we're not allowed to talk about these and have that discussion with the kids, then they don't know.
Yeah, here in LA, there's a lot of controversy about the shelters here. The mayor tried to defund the shelters, even though they were in crisis mode beforehand. I can't talk very much. Well, I can't. I need to go. But I agree. I'm glad that you're doing this work for the cats and dogs who are in horrible positions in shelters everywhere. But in LA, yes, we are experiencing this problem acutely.
Yeah.
Um, it's overcrowded. The leadership in the shelter leadership has been abysmal, just the worst.
Yeah.
Losing volunteers, losing money. But anyway, I have I have to go.
Okay, no
Um,
problem. No, but it's great having you on here, Corey, and looking forward to having you on again. Okay, and I'll keep
right.
promoting your protest every
Thank
Saturday. How's that?
you.
Yes, and
Oh
everybody,
my
you
gosh.
know, yeah, Los Angeles for Animals on Facebook. Go press the like and keep pressing that. And I even put your event link on my website. Okay, on this show
Oh,
tonight.
that is so
you know s-
fabulous of
and
you.
after the show, after I edit, it gets downloaded, edited, I'm going to add the links because Podbean don't let you add the links before. This is only the one that's going out. It's only a temporary promo. So the other one, it will have all the links, to your Facebook pages, also yours, Kiersten, and
Thank
also, the event for Saturday, on a link to get in there if you're interested, if you're in LA or close by. Hey,
Yeah,
the more the better. How's that? But looking forward to
absolutely.
having, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close down the show, everyone. But
Oh, thank you.
Corey,
Uh,
thank you for coming on and keep following me, okay? And feel free to
oh,
come into any
definitely.
of these shows. You'll get alerted, or just Thursdays at 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock, uh, PSC, PST time, your time. But listening worldwide, had some former guests speak tonight. This was wonderful. I love when they get involved you know and have them on. But thank you. This was another great show, everyone. And
Thank you
Kirsten,
for the opportunity.
hey, anytime. It's always my pleasure to
Yeah,
truly welcome. And Kirsten
beautiful.
Cluster of Elephant Guardians of Los Angeles. Check the Facebook page out, everyone. See how you can help get Tina and Billy out of this zoo, okay? We
thank you,
need to
Tippy.
get them out. Let them
Yeah, thank you
enjoy their
so much
life.
for having us on the
Enough is
show and
enough.
yeah, giving this platform for Billy and Tina to be able to tell their story and all of those elephants in the Tulsa Zoo and to thank you. We really appreciate
Yeah,
that you
you're
help
so
us get the word
welcome.
out.
Yeah, and I look forward to January of being on,
Yeah,
giving the
thank
promotion
you.
on the Vigil for Elephants,
Yeah,
and visit them
I'll be
on,
back for the vigil.
Facebook. Yes, so you're all set up to come on there. Just send you email invitation along with Marilyn and let's see, it was you and Barbara Levette. She's in, and there
Yeah,
was
Marilyn,
who else
Sandra,
was?
Sandra
Cory.
Klinger. Sandra
Yeah, there
Klinger.
it is. So we got to get her in there, But
Yeah, yeah.
Barbara Levette, thank you for being joining in with us tonight, and big shout out to Marilyn Glazer of the Lucy of the, try to get Lucy out, and Mama Cat. Thank you so much for all you do and all your, teamwork that you do, multitasking and Harlan. And big hugs to you, my awesome Facebook friend. Give
Thank
Harry,
you.
her dog, a big hug.
I will.
But yeah, and thank you all the new ones that came in, the new listeners that came in the chat room. A big shout out to you. Hope you join us again. This platform is for all animals in need and distress. And hope you all next week, Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, 4 o'clock Pacific. Listen in worldwide, everyone. And our guest is going to be Adam Shuglovsky. He's the founder of the Bear Defenders, and we're trying to get this big bear hunt down here in Florida stopped. The black
Oh, good.
bears, okay?
Good.
And
Thank you.
yeah, and I mean, it's terrible what they're allowing. They're allowing
Yeah.
up to 6 dogs to attack and kill black bears.
That's
Leave them
crazy.
alone. There hasn't been a bear hunt in over 10 years. And I can remember back on TS Radio Network, Voices Carry for him. I interviewed him, so I'm going to welcome him back. So please join in. I see Kate McFall, from Florida Director of Humane World for Animals. I hope she joins in because I just did a show with her a couple weeks ago. She did a great show. And all of you are always welcome back. We don't have you on once. You're part of the Voices Carry for Animals podcast family, okay? And once you're in, we're going to get the word out. But I hope you join us next week because you can listen worldwide. I've had guests from other countries, Australia, UK, Paris, I mean, you name it, India, and going to Canada. You should see this list. So I never stop, okay? I'm relentless, proactive, and optimistic. We can do it, okay? We are in it to win it, everyone. And Mama Cat, you ready? Paw in hand? Go ahead.
United we stand against all animal cruelty and neglect across the land. Good night, everybody. God bless.
Good
Hey,
night.
good night, everyone. Have a
Good night.
nice
Thank
and
you.
peaceful evening, okay? And don't forget to come back next week because we're going to have another great show, and that's, what it's going to be, and we're going to keep it up. We're not giving up. So here we go.
Do
Thank
what
you
makes
all
you
tuning
dream.
in.
Thanks,
Yes.
Debbie. Good
Bye.
night.
Good night,
Thank
Good
you.
night,
everyone.
everybody. Good night, Debbie.
Good night. Big Mama Bear hugs.
Good night.
Right back at
Thank you, Kristen, and thank you, Cory.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Thanks for having us on. We really
You're
appreciate
so
it.
welcome.
Good night.
May God bless you all.